long as nothing happens on this final lap, is definitely going to be the 72 of Joshua Durham. Alright guys, with all that information, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we are going to have some driver interviews.
Whole strategy to spin out there before you hit the line. He must be trying to warm his tires up.
Yeah, but that's not the way it works, Brian. You know that.
Not how it works. No, I know that. I'm just making jokes.
But here we go for Ashton Crowder's first lap here. Sounds like he might have just tapped the wall. Could have been net code. Still pushing very hard here. Sanchez and the 21 of Brian Chambliss, they're battling for 7th and 8th. Kyle Kraus wants to get in on the action here as well. Kyle Kraus to the inside. Oh, Sanchez in the fence. And Sanchez has just lost out big time in the fence. And he's... Hello everyone and welcome to the Milwaukee Mile and welcome to the Champ Speed Shop 110 here on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel from the Output Racing League. The drivers are just starting to hit the track now for some pit party action. So let's go in and see what we have going on. Currently focused on Tom and Harmon. Currently P10 in the standings. I think he's currently P10 in the standings for practice here. So I don't know who's where or what. But it looks like it's going to be 88 Jonathan Hernandez on the front row there with the 4 of Jaron Sanchez as they're off and racing now for the pit party. 3 wide into turn 1. That usually doesn't stick too well, but they made it stick this time. And on to the back straight they go. Just getting into the fence there ever so slightly on the back straight. I could hear some contact, but I didn't see who it was who was contacting. Look at the 81 of Corey Williamson. Oh, and the 4 of Jaron Sanchez completely spun out into the pit lane. We got Frank Isaacson there as well, and Mark Pentecoff parked up on the barrels of the pit entry. And we've just seen, I think that was a 60, Kyle Kraus giving some Williamson in the 81. Through 3 and 4 we go this time. And I think Frank is actually, not Frank, Mark is still actually parked up on the barrels. He is. And there goes the 66 of Sam Niederhelm into him. Now Sam is the one stuck on the barrels, and Mark is back on his wheels and able to go again. Oh, jeez. These boys know how to party. Background at a 64. Jonas Marquez getting all kinds of wrong coming out of turn 2. Oh, and there's a 60 Kyle Kraus. He took the Sanchez line and decided to spin out into the pit lane. So it looks like it's going to be slippery conditions here for the trucks at the Milwaukie Mile. Also a place that's notorious for burning the white flag. If you don't drive it just right. 23 of John Lozelle. There's more contact in the background. I think again that was the 5 of Mark Pentecoff going around. It was. And he decided to park it in the grass. We go back to looking at the 23 of John Lozelle. Looking like for the most part here, everyone generally finding their own little groove. And everyone handling it. Definitely for the most part making somewhat kind of sense of the situation at hand. Only one of all of this. Behind him is 88 Jonathan Hernandez. We saw that briefly. That's the 2 of Chris Champeau currently sitting in 3rd of the Matt Horton in 4th. But still, people looking like they're struggling with a little bit of rear end grip there. Gladiator number 13, Travis Massio, right behind him. There's a 78, Brian Pizzakemi in there as well. Wow. How deep into the corner was Travis Massio going? That opened up the door for the 78 of Pizzakemi to go. Like for the most part, as I said, everyone just kind of figuring out their own way around the track. Hasn't really been too much of anyone hitting anyone. Strength of field at this event is a 27.68 for the 19 drivers plus myself. Just bring up the positional ticket here. Austin Hank Hicks leading away from Darren Sanchez, Kyle Kraus, and Brian Chambers. And here comes 78. Brian Pizzicami making a big move on Thomas Harmon there. We're trying to find decent camera angles because the camera pack for here really sucks. Oh, in the background now, the 13 of Travis Massia going for a spin. As Pizzicami now gets underneath Horton. John Lozelle putting all kinds of pressure on the back of Thomas Harmon there. Thomas Harmon out into the inside of, Austin Hakes going for a spin into the pit lane. He managed to keep it off the wall, so he did better. Oh, I spoke too soon. Who was that in the background? I think that was Kyle Kraus. Oh, the 13 of Travis. So there's the squad. The racing line there. That Sam Niederhelm there, getting right up close and personal with the turn to the wall. He didn't tap it, but it got very close as he's getting underneath Mark Pentecost now. There goes Austin Hakes up the inside as well. Darren Sanchez taking top spot on the totem pole with a 29.959. That's pretty damn quick. Austin Hakes trying to take back the top spot. Look like he's going to do so yet, as in the background behind him, five of Mark Pentecost had another little bit of an off. Oh, it looks like a little bit of experimental teleportation there for Sam Niederhelm in the 66. Only a few cars on track. That was getting up away, high wide next. I think that was Jonas Marquez there. Oh, is into the pit lane, spins John Lozelle. Oh, what a nasty angle to hit. Somehow he missed Kyle Kraus there, who was coming into the pits as well, the 60 car. There's Travis Masser in 13, Mark Penske, him, Matt Horton, who's just come out of the pits. Darren Sanchez says, yep, I've done what I need to do, and he's sitting in the pits at the minute. It looks like some more pit entry road rage there. 24 and the 60. Greg Isaacson and Carl Craft. There's the 81 of Corey Williamson, just behind him, Austin Hakes. Austin still sitting in the second position. Looks like no one getting into the 9-second bracket with Darren Sanchez. And it looks like we've got a large amount of people coming into the pits. Possibly, maybe getting ready for a party here. Still Christian Pose in. The 5 and the 33 still staying out on track. Matt Horton and Mark Pentecost. It looks like mostly everyone else starting to creep out of the pits now. So yeah, I do believe we are getting another pit party here. Alright, so here we go for pit party number 2. Looks like this time Sanchez is going to take the pole. With Brian Chandler starting on his outside. There's John Lascelles here in the 3rd position. Carl Kraus coming out of 4. As some of the stragglers starting to catch up. And here we go. Sanchez with an overpowering launch there to take the lead. Was trying to hold on to the 2nd position, but it's not going to be easy with the 23 of John Lascelles there. Travis Masser mid-pack. There goes the 23 Lascelles. Oh, and look at the pile up that's just started. There's the 88 of Hernandez, the 2 of Christian Pose in it. They're still wrecking into turn 1. That wreck started coming out of turn 4 and it finished in turn 1. That's what we like to call in this business the long run. That crash lasted the entire front stretch. With just a few people left on track, I think they might call for a re-rack and stack and let's do it again. Oh, Sam Niederhelm just got punted there by Pizzakemi. He was blinking out when that happened. Oh, what a flip for Frank Isaacson there. He hit someone going into turn 1. I'm not sure who it was that was parked up there with him. Alright, here we go for attempt number 2 of the 2nd pit party now. Looks like this one, Kyle Kraus is going to be on the pole. Brian Chambliss on his outside. You've got Jonathan Hernandez in 3rd. Matt Horton in 4th. And here we go, off and racing. Oh, a little bit of a slow start there for Sanchez in the mid-pack. Backed up everyone there a little bit on that inside line. But Hernandez in third, going to take the advantage of that inside line to take away second. Nice little battle here for the second and third. Oh, as Corey Williamson gets tapped around by Brian Puzakemi. Looks like John Lazelle caught up in that one as well. Maybe a little bit of damage for Jonas Marquez as well. But the pit party is going to continue on since there's only 4 cars involved in that one. And it is Kraus from Chambliss. Sanchez is taking advantage of a desperate and deep dive there from the 33 of Matt Horton. And it was such a good run there. He's actually up on the inside of Austin Hakes as well. And he's going to take that position, which puts him up to 4th in the pit party. Austin Hakes getting around Jaron Sanchez now. As we're looking at Matt Horton here in the mid-packs. Only about 8 minutes to go now in this practice session. Looking at the 2 of Christian Poe, today's sponsor for the event. This is of course the Champ Speedshop 110. And he's just trying to hold off Thomas Harmon there. Looks like there's another spirited battle here between Sanchez and Hernandez. iRacing choosing to focus on Austin Hakes instead, who was in front of the battle. Now we see Frank Isaacson trying to make a move on Ken Campbell. Corey Williamson just in front of this, and Jonas Marquez just behind it all. Position from Campbell. saw the two of Chris Champ up against the fence, and there's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, who was parked on the inside. Also saw Thomas Harmon up in the fence. Now looking at Austin Hakes, now still P2 in the standings. Kyle Kraus in third, Brian Chambliss in fourth. Christian Bell in 10th. So not the introduction into this race that Christian Bell would have wanted so far. There is a 38 Thomas Harmon going for a spin. We see him do that a lot in practice, but we don't see it too much in the race because he learns from the practice. Harmon now with the two of Chris Champo just in behind him. Looks like Harmon braking a little bit earlier than everyone else to some of these braking zones. There's John Lozelle going for a spin coming up in turn 4. These guys still battling it on quite nicely, actually. It's Kraus, Chambliss, and Hayes. Oh, Christian Bell moved himself. Still in P12 now. So he's going down. Oh. Oh no, Thomas Harmon just got into the back of Frank Isaacson, who was having a moment. Because I think Thomas was just coming out of the pits that time. 5 Mark Penticup. Christian Budd still down at 12. He'll be hoping for a good lap here shortly. As it looks like we've got a lot of people coming into the pits, so possibly another pit party coming up here shortly. Christian Budd moved himself up into third, taking advantage of the clear track. And yep, does indeed look like we're getting another pit party here. As now everyone getting going here. There's going to be about 10 laps left, so we've got just about 5.5 minutes left of practice. It looks like we're doing another pit party here. Alright, here we go. Pit party number 3. So far, everyone cleanly through 1 and 2. Mark Penticup having a little bit of a moment there, but Sanchez is going to take the lead away from Kraus. 3 wide in the back of the pack. Thomas back in the danger zone. Oh, and Frank's gone around. Thomas involved in it. Thomas parked up on the barrels a little bit there. There's the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez, the 60 of Kyle Kraus, having a little bit of a moment as well. And a little bit of a punt for extra measure. There for Ken Campbell in the 15. Managed to hold on to it though. This is a very spirited battle going on in the back of the pack. And we're looking in front of it at Matt Horton. There's Mark Penticup from the 5. Only 18 in the standings. Now pack racing before we get into qualifying and then the race. A little bit of a moment back there for Kazakami. A little bit loose coming out of turn 4 that time. To go now for the practice session, which means it's only about 2 minutes left. Actually, only about 4 laps left. 5 laps to go for 5 plus 1. Jose Sanchez from Pilsakemi Austin takes Christian Bud, a top four. Kyle Kraus finishing practice here in 5th. Chambers, Hernandez, Massio, Horton and Harmon wrapping up the top 10 in practice so far. Now as we enter the final minute of practice here, I'm going to go for no. When we come back, we're going to find out the results of qualifying. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More from the Champs Speedshop 110 here from the Milwaukie Mile be coming up in just a few minutes. Make sure you guys stay tuned. All right, here we go. It's race time. And starting on the pole is going to be the 50 car of Christian Budd. Starting out of P2 is going to be the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. And I'm moving something and I'm not sure what it is. P3 is going to be the 13 of Travis Massio, with P4 being the 2 of Chris Champeau. P3 is going to be the 28 car of Austin Hakes, with P4 being the 2 of Chris Champeau. P3 is Travis Massio, and P4 is Chris Champeau. P5, Austin Hakes. P6, Jaron Sanchez. P7 is Brian Chambliss. P8, the 60 of Kyle Kraus. P9, going to be the 38 of Thomas Harmon. P10 will be John Lazelle. P9 will be John Lazelle. P10, Frank Isaacson. P11, James Watson. P12, Mark Penticuff, Matt Horton, Ken Campbell, Brian Pizzagami, Sam Niederhelm, Jonas Marquez, and Corey Williamson wrapping up the field. I'm pressing things and I really shouldn't be pressing things. I know exactly what it was that I was touching. Here we go. 110 laps for the Champs Speed Shop 110 here from the Milwaukie Mile. The first start is on green. All the restarts will be on the leader. And we're off and racing for lap number 1. And already Christian Budd going out to the lead, but only just over the 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. Trying to hold on to the third position, and he does so over the 13 of Travis Massio. And then it's Sanchez. Oh, Sanchez has gotten loose. Sanchez is loose in front of the pack. Oh no. James Watson nowhere to go, straight into him. Oh, Jonas Marquez as well. Oh, that is horrible. James Watson with a smoking engine. His night is done. Jaron Sanchez is done. Go check on the 64 of Marquez. Marquez with heavy rear end damage. See if we can get a look at the front of his car here. And the front of his car actually looks surprisingly good. Let's see if there's any damage on the 66 of Sam Niederhelm's car. His car is looking pretty alright as well. But what a way to start off the racing action here at the Milwaukie Mile. Already, just before the end of lap 1, we have a huge incident there. And as I said, unfortunately, that's going to be the end of the night for James Watson and for Jaron Sanchez. So your order here for the restart, it's going to be Christian Budd, Chris Champeau, Jonathan Hernandez, Travis Massio, Austin Hakes, Brian Chambliss, Kyle Kraus, Thomas Harmon, Frank Isaacson, and John Lazelle as your top 10. Just waiting out the laps of caution now. Ken Campbell's in the pits, so too the 64 of Jonas Marquez. think Ken Campbell got involved in it. Apparently he did, he's got some damage. As I think we're probably on about 2 to green here. Everyone's starting to get into some form of a formation. We might be on 1 to green here. We're getting formed up very quickly. And the pace car is off. We're off and racing again. What a jump for Christian Budd. Yeah, Jonathan Hernandez taking a big advantage of that as well. He might actually slip up into P2 here. And with a slide job, he makes it stick just in front of Chris Champeau. They sponsor Champ Speedshop. Don't forget to check out Chris Champeau also on his Twitch, twitch.tv/ChampDrivesCars. And I'm sure he will have some kind of a deal going on for his speed shop. See mostly everyone going single filed out. There's a little bit of side by side going on in the pack a little bit. I think there's a 60 of Carl Kraus trying to go for a move on the inside of Austin Hakes. And he makes that move stick as Austin washed up a little bit too wide there in 3 and 4. Just behind now, here comes John Lazelle in the 23. He was looking to make a move there on Austin Hakes as well, couldn't quite do so. Thomas Harmon well back in the field here as well. He's trying to make a mark as everyone has gone single filed out now. This is just one of those tracks where single file is going to happen. It just takes one small mistake from anyone anywhere and it could turn big very quickly. Tell you what a start here with Brian Chambliss in the 4. Down by much, but definitely not where he's at. Already up into P4. Could be well tidings for him in this race. I think there's a little bit of a battle developing here further back in the pack between Horton and Corey Williamson. And in fact, Corey Williamson making way for Mark Pentecup as well. As these two continue to battle side by side now. They're only battling over 13. But every point counts in the championship. They go through onto lap 4. Everything's looking pretty steady at the minute. We go back to the front of the pack. Looks like Carl Kraus moved up another spot on Travis Massier this time. Carl now moves up into P5, moves Travis Massier down to P6. pretty steady right now, surprisingly. Actually, really surprised there's not more battles going on through the pack. As to be expected, the 50 of Christian Budd clearing out shop here in the lead. Got a 1 second gap over Jonathan Hernandez as it stands right now. And it looks like my ticker got a little bit messed up, so we'll just do a quick little restart on that. There we go, it looks a little bit better now. And I do see a battle going on in the pack. I think that was a 28 of Austin Hakes that I saw on the outside. Battling it out with John Lozelle and Thomas Harmon. Brian Pizzacchemi up in there as well. These guys battling for 8th, 9th and 10th. John Lozelle currently holding on to P7. And look at how fast Pizzacchemi comes into turn 1 there. He had so much more than Thomas Harmon there. Looks like these guys trying to just find a way around each other. That's the 13 of Travis Masia. Kind of playing the cork in the bottle a little bit. I think we've officially lost James Watson from the server. Oh, as Travis Masia has made a mistake. Don Lozelle's gotten around him. Here comes Austin Hakes as well, trying to make the move. Got his nose up there, but can he do anything with it? Yes, he can. Thomas Harmon fancy the show as well. Looks like he's just getting freight trained there. Poor young Travis Masia. Indeed, that is how you go from P7 all the way down to P10. Actually, it was a little bit higher than P7. Yeah, he was P6. P6 down to P10. One foul swoop. The battle is still on between himself and Brian Pizzacchemi though. For the most part, these guys have finished battling, so we're going to go see what's going on at the front. Right in front of the pack, I mean the battle for P2. Hernandez holding on to it from Brian Chambers has moved up in front of Chris Champeau now. Kyle Kraus just sitting there ever so slightly on the back of these guys. Not really catching up all too much. In fact, I think he might be losing a little bit here. But for the most part, things are looking pretty steady for these guys. Go back and check in on the 23 of John Lozelle, who is starting to catch up to Kyle Kraus here ever so slightly. And a big mistake there for Austin Hakes just behind him. Oh, the two of Chris Champeau's gotten loose. Control on the grass. Well done, Chris. Good car control. Chris Champeau's just gone from 4th all the way down to 12th. That's a big drop in position for him. He'll be very keen to try and make that back up. three of Brazil will try and catch up. Kyle Krause in front of him, Austin Hakes is trying to limit the time lost to John Lozelle at the minute. And Brian Piscami actually looking a little bit racy here. Just in behind Thomas Harmon. Oh, that's too far back. This is the one we want. Let's just keep an eye on Piscami here, see what he gets up to. As Chambliss has actually gotten around Jonathan Hernandez for P2. We missed that one. Poor Jones Sanchez still just sitting there in the pits. Now it looks like Piscami's starting to fall off in the back of Harmon here a little bit. It could be due to his super aggressive entry. Look at the closing speed he has on entry. And he loses it all mid to exit. Go check in on John Lozelle now. And he's definitely been catching up to Kyle Krause. The gap there is only 0.6 of a second. But Austin Hakes still right there as well. And this is where the possible next battle could come from, honestly. We're expecting multiple pit stops here. This could be at least a two-stop race. Just to prepare. The only factor was fuel, then it would be a one-stop race. We're expecting cars to be that big of a problem here. They're going to have to make two stops. As John Lozelle still holding off Austin Hakes'. Thomas Harmon still trying to hold off Brian Piscami as well. These are the closest bits of action we've got. In fact, Piscami looking like he's trying to make a move on Thomas Harmon now. Thomas blinking out a little bit there. Managing to hold off the charging Piscami though. Just look at that closing speed that Piscami has on Harmon. We're going to sit on board Piscami. Let's just have a look at this in real time. The gyro cam. Look at how close he gets to Harmon on entry. And he actually managed to hold on to most of that momentum that time. Let's look at it in turn one, because he loses it all on exit. I think is going to be his big downfall. But just so much closing pace on entry. That's just absolutely nuts. As we're now 31 laps into this race. Just the sum of 79 to go. That Piscami has been now to the back of Thomas Harmon. We could very well see the move happen here shortly. Austin Hakes also right on his tail of Lozelle still. Christian Budd's already put one person a lap down. That is the 5 of Mark Penticup, who has gone a lap down. It just looks like Pisakemi just does not quite have what it takes to try and make that move stick. As Austin Hakes went for the move on John Lozelle, it didn't work out for him. And Lozelle this time makes a big mistake. It's allowed Austin Hakes up on his inside. He's just going to give up that spot graciously. That's now Hakes up into P5, Lozelle down to P6. Lozelle gifted an extra position thanks to Chris Champeau getting loose that way coming out of turn 2. There's a battle on ahead as well. The 88 of Jonathan Hernandez. In fact, that wasn't a battle, that was just him getting around Mark Penticup. Come down here, although the 60 just tapped the wall there a little bit. This is the closest battle that we have on track right now, and they're all starting to catch up to Mark Penticup. This could get a little bit spicy here soon. There we go. Kraus making the move to the inside. Austin Hakes looking to follow. 78 of Pisakemi behind. He's looking to make a move on John Lozelle, like Thomas Harmon already has. Lozelle looks like he's a little bit down on pace, so Lozelle might have gotten into the wall at some point as well. Hakes trying to make the move on Kraus now. Thomas Harmon's gotten around Mark, no worries at all. Very smartly getting right out of the way for the rest of these guys who are battling position. But this is the battle we're looking at right now, Kraus and Hakes. And Hakes makes it work now. Looks like the 81 of Corey Williamson has already gone for a pit stop. He's just coming out on track now. And Lozelle has battled back on Pisakemi and has taken back the 7th position. That's a good job there for Lozelle. And watch out 38 of Thomas Harmon now, who's closing in on the crowd. See a move here shortly. The 2 of Chris Champeau has come into the pits. As I said, it's a very split strategy here. You either try and go halfway and make it a one-stop on fuel, or you pit twice and do it with the tyres. Now in the pits as well. It looks like most people opting for the 2-stop strategy. A lot of smoke there on pit entry. So possibly someone getting a little bit loose there as Mark Penticup now comes in. I think the 81 of Corey Williamson might have been the cause of that smoke. Like he got loose and then just went for a drive down pit lane. Harmon still closing in on the back of Carl Kraus here. This is the battle for fifth. As Chambliss and Hernandez still battling it out over the second position. But Chambliss is taking the advantage at the moment. Hernandez might have gotten into the lead at some point. We're going to have cars with pressure tyres coming out onto the track and taking advantage of the undercut. It's not you see too much in oval racing, but it can be pretty powerful. Just look at the speeds they're taking going through the corners. They look like they're just about standing still. There's the 81 of Corey Williamson trying to just make up some ground here. He's gone a few laps down. He doesn't want to get involved in this battle. He doesn't want to get in the way. He still wants to try and take advantage of those pressure tyres. Look at the big dive from Lizelle there in the 23. He was trying to get underneath Williamson. Well, Williamson was just holding station here behind Kraus and Harmon. Kraus got in there a little bit coming out of turn 2. And there goes the 2 of Chris Champeau now, making it 3 wide with John Lizelle. His pressure tyres coming in a little bit clutch for him. He was able to hold it around the middle. And this might not be a battle for position on track, but it could end up becoming a battle for position on track. As now to the inside of Thomas Harmon. This is not what Thomas wanted. Oh, this Chris almost got into the back of Kraus. Managed to stop himself from doing so. A lot of guys on pressure tyres coming through this little pack. And there goes the 23 of Lizelle looking to the inside of Harmon now. The 81 of Williamson looking to the outside. There's the 13 of Travis Marshall, also on pressure tyres, looking for the way through. Oh, Thomas Harmon has been tapped. And he's gone around. That was off the nose of the 13 of Travis Massier. And that is going to bring out our second caution of the race. And I see the yellow lights on. That is our second caution. Let's go back and have another look at that in slow-mo. You can get a tighter shot of it too. I think it was just the 13 of Massier got a little bit caught out by the speed of Lizelle there. And he just tried to dive up into the higher line. Unfortunately, just caught that left rear of Thomas Harmon. And around Thomas goes. Not wanting to lose too much track position there. Massier just decided to put his boot in it and send Thomas the whole way around. There's the yellow light just coming on. Looks like Puzakemi very lucky to not get involved in that himself. Just sneaking around the outside of it. We're going to go to a quick commercial break now. And when we come back, we'll be getting ready for the restart here from the Champ Speedshop 110 from the Milwaukie Speedway. Make sure you guys stay tuned. here, recorded and exclusive on the Aussies and Commentator channel from the Champs Speedshop 110 from the Milwaukie Mile. And everyone has gone through for some pit stops. Thomas Harmon with 16-second stop. Not sure whether he actually stopped or not. I think he might have missed his pit box. He did, because he's going back in. Just going to put him back at the back of the pack. The Christian Budd is going to continue to lead the way here. You see, got 3 wave rounds, being Chris Champeau, Mark Pentecoff, and Travis Massia. The order as it stands: going to be Christian Budd, Brian Chambliss, Jonathan Hernandez, Kyle Kraus, Austin Hakes, Brian Pizzakemi, John Lazelle, Matt Horton, Frank Isaacson, and Sam Niederhelm as your top 10. Looks like it's going to be Ken Campbell in 11th, with Jonas Marquez 12th, Thomas Harmon in 13th. Going to put Chris Champeau 14th, Mark Pentecoff 15th, and Travis Massia P16. After they get their wave rounds, there's 16 cars on the lead lap. Actually, no, it'd be 15 cars on the lead lap because Mark Pentecoff is multiple laps down. It looks like we've got the 1 to go. The lap down cars are going to get their wave around now. And Christian Budd's going to choose the inside line for the restart. But here we go. Pace car is in, and we're off and racing, and we're going to crank it up. We have now officially reached the halfway point. In fact, we're just past halfway. 54 laps to go in this race. Christian Budd leading the way from Brian Chambliss, who's trying to hold off from Jonathan Hernandez sitting there in 3rd. Kyle Kraus with his fresh tyres up into 4th. Figure now that he's been re-energized from that caution. There's Austin Hakes sitting there just in 5th. Rory Williamson back into the pit lane. Actually, a little bit of a move going on in the background. The 78 of Ryan Pizzacami. But Pizzacami holding on to the advantage at the moment. Looks like Pizzacami doesn't quite have the dive down into the corner that he did before when he was behind Thomas Harmon. That's because of Thomas Harmon was just slightly earlier than everyone else. As our second, third, and fourth place drivers starting to pull away from the guys just behind a little bit. Of course, Christian Budge is clearing out from everyone. He's done a 29.901 as his fastest lap time. Battle is raging on here though. The 6 of the top 7 position. Looks like it's still just Brian Chambers holding on to the advantage at the moment. Everyone just kind of single filed out again. There's not really too many battles going on throughout the pack. Might focus on crashes here just a little bit. Just to see if we can see anything going on. It's still sticking with this front pack though. Bouncing between Kyle Kraus and Austin Hakes at the minute. Christian Bud's definitely just moving away from everyone right now. He's given them all a clean set of heels and he's just trotted away. Looks like showing the nose a little bit there to Brian Chambliss. Maybe just trying to psych him out ever so slightly. I'm not sure if it'll work or not though. Kyle Kraus still holding on to the 4th position. Makes getting a little bit of pockets of excitement here, as we like to say over in the Skippy broadcast. Hashtag pockets of excitement. It's just when the field just gets all spread out. There's these tiny little battles, but nothing really too much going on. Go check in with our sponsor, Chris Champeau. He's holding off Jonas Marquez for 13th. So that early spin really did not do any wonders here for Chris Champeau. He was also one of the cars that got the wave around from pitting earlier in the race. Going back to focusing on crashes. Don't forget, this is the Champ Speedshop 110 from the Milwaukie Mile. Just in case you haven't been paying attention. As these 6 drivers just can't really get away from each other right now. This is Chambliss all the way back to John Lascelles, so from 2nd to 7th. 7th is actually where Brian Chandler started, if I do remember so correctly. So check in on how Thomas Harmon is doing in the 38 hour. It looks like he's back up into 9th right now after getting spun. Travis Massio just hasn't really had much pace ever since that little incident with Thomas Harmon. I think at this point in time, we're going to go for a quick commercial break. When we come back, we'll be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. And welcome back to the Champ Speedshop 110 here from the Milwaukie Mile. Live and exclusive on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. And we have been continuing to watch this battle, of which John Lazelle's actually just been falling off the back of here a little bit. Our 7th place driver. But it's still a little bit of a battle here between Hernandez and Chambliss. They're kind of playing a little bit of chess right now as far as who's ducking and draking where. Carl Kraus starting to lose a little bit of pace as well. He's got Austin Hakes all over his back bumper right now. It's also the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi who is up in there as well. You see the driver still getting really close to that outside wall on the exit of turn 2. And I actually think Brian Chambliss is starting to pull away here from Jonathan Hernandez a little bit. He's just been ever so slightly pulling that gap. What about the dive into turn 1 from the 78 of Pizzakemi? Those are the flashes of brilliance we saw before when he was trying to battle Thomas Harmon. As we now have about 35 laps to go. These guys are trying to do everything they can to just try and make any kind of position. This is one of the more difficult tracks to try and make a pass on, because you really just have to try and wait for the guy in front of you to make a mistake and slip up the track too far. Carl Kraus again just about flirting with that outside wall on turn 2. I'm surprised he hasn't absolutely pancaked the side of that truck on it, as Mark Pentecoff decides discretion is the better part of valor and pulls into the pits before these guys get to him. But here comes the move now. From Austin Hakes to the inside of Kyle Kraus. And it looks like Brian Pizzakemi trying to go with him. Hakes makes the move quite easily. See what Pizzakemi can do now. He goes for the big dive into turn 1 as per par of the course for him. And he does make that move stick. That's now Kyle Kraus down to P6. He's been there in 4th for so long. Mark Pentecoff actually came out of the pits in front of these guys. Now Kyle Kraus just falling off the back of this pack. And everyone just getting that little bit more strung out than what they were before. Mark Pentecoff on fresher tyres actually pressuring Kyle Kraus now. He backed off of that a little bit, so I think he thought he got too close. Last thing he wants to do is turn one of these lead lap cars. Position to Mark Pentecoff. Recognises Mark has a little bit more pace than him with the fresher tyres. And he doesn't want Mark to run him over. Which I don't think he has to worry about with Mark, honestly. Mark is one of the more conscientious drivers that we have in this league. But Mark now all over the back of Puzzicami. Look at Mark using the entire apron there in turns of 1 and 2 to try and make up a little bit of time there on Puzzicami. I'm not sure Puzzicami fully realised he was down there either, as Mark's just looking for any way to try and get around him. And this time he's got the run going into turn 1. Puzzicami holding it high, wide and handsome for a little bit there just to allow Mark to get through faster. Mark chasing onto the tail of Austin Hanks. Mark could really play spoiler here in the top few dozen. Oh, look at the dive from the fresh tyres. Austin Hanks had absolutely no answer for it. And Mark washed so far up the track, he went for a huge dive into turn 1 that time. He's definitely using up all the tyre life that those brand new tyres have. Now Mark is on the back of Jonathan Hernandez. And he's going to dive it on Hernandez as well. Going to stunt Hernandez's progress into catching Chambliss. Although he could be getting a little bit of draft here from Pentecoff on the back straight. But he is right up Pentecoff's chuff there. Pentecoff with the fresher tyres gets a little bit better drive into the corner. Looks like Corey Williamson's still sitting there in the pits. Doesn't look like he's going to be coming back out, so his day might be done. As Mark now getting back onto the apron again to try and get the drive up onto the inside of Chambliss. Mark really favouring that drive on the apron. I'm not sure about it myself. But that's definitely going to be distracting for these lead lap drivers. We're still looking at Hernandez, who has Austin Hakes trying to catch up to him now. As Pentecoff now finally gets around Chambliss. Hope he hasn't used up too much of his tyre life, or these guys are going to be coming straight back at him here very quickly. As I said, Mark is one of the more conscientious drivers. He's not one of the faster ones. That's not me trying to have a dig at Mark. It's just the unfortunate truth of the situation. I wish Mark all the best, and I wish that he could get a little bit more speed behind him, because I reckon he could be a great driver. But they're all here for fun mostly. This is a pretty fun league, and I know I enjoy broadcasting it as much as some of these guys enjoy racing it. Some of 23 laps left to run in this race. That's definitely starting to tick off quickly now, as it looks like Austin Hakes trying to make the move on Hernandez, not going to get it done this time. Austin Hakes in that 28 truck, looking for whatever move he can get on Chambliss. Not on Chambliss, sorry, on Hernandez. Hernandez giving the truck a little bit of a wiggle there along the back stretch. As if to say, no, 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 no. Hey, we're nothing if not a little bit childish every now and then, and that's completely okay. But just behind Austin Hakes, though, is hard charging Brian Pizzicami in the 78 truck. Shame that he doesn't qualify more often, because he's definitely one of the quick drivers. I mean, just look at his run. He's gone from the back all the way up to P5. The laps definitely falling down quickly now. Coming this time at the line, there are only going to be 20 laps left to run in this race, as we're watching the battle here for 3rd through 5th. Austin Hakes again taking a little half look to the inside of Hernandez, doesn't go for it. Hernandez has caught up to Mark Pintercuff again. Mark has just been really struggling now. Those tyres have definitely started to fall off. Austin Hakes looking for the inside run on Hernandez. Couldn't quite get the drive out of turn 4. Yeah, Mark's tyres have definitely fallen off the cliff now. I think he got a good run of them, honestly. Now here comes Austin Hakes to the inside of Hernandez. This is a proper dive this time. See what Hernandez can do on that outside line. He can't hold off from Hakes, but he does manage to cover off Pizzicami. Pizzicami didn't try and argue that one too much. Austin Hakes now up in the 3rd, Hernandez in 4th. Also, Jonas Marquez is about to go a lap down to the 50 of Christian Budd. Looks like in the background there, the 60, Carl Kraus just struggling with that turn 2 exit a little bit more. That's probably mostly the reason why he's falling off in the back of these guys. And Austin Hakes looks like he's been saving a little bit of tyre there. He's got a little bit in reserve. He's pulling away from Hernandez now, as they all get to the inside of Mark Pintercuff in the 5. Mark just trying to stay as out of the way as possible at the minute. Going to the extreme outside line this time was Mark. And look at Pizzicami trying to make the move on Jonathan Hernandez. Pintercuff, who was 3 laps down at this point, just holding on strong there in behind Pizzicami. Only 13 cars on the lead lap at the minute. Ken Campbell in 13th. At the moment, the last car on the lead lap. Jonas Marquez, first car 1 lap down. Only 13 and a half laps to go in this race. And it looks like this one, again, is just going to get all sewn up by Christian Budd. because this race is recorded and not streamed live, we will not actually be able to get driver interviews in. Ooh, sound like a little bit of contact there. Matt Horton and John Lazelle. Thomas Harmon up in this battle as well in 8th. A little bit of road rage going on here in the back of the top 10. Kyle Kraus definitely slammed the wall that time. So he's just gotten around Mark Pentecoff and just absolutely pancaked the side of the truck. So he's probably going to be down on a little bit of power here for the rest of the race, which means these guys are half a chance of catching up to him. As we're almost at 10 laps to go. But even though we're not going to be doing interviews, I'm pretty sure we know what Christian Budd would say. Something along the lines of, oh yeah, the car was alright. You know, I didn't really feel too spectacular, but you know, I just got it done. And he'd go and butter me up terribly. And then he'd talk about how he's average at the next track. As now Thomas Harmon gets around Matt Horton. Puts Thomas Harmon up into P7. Let's see if Harmon can make the charge on to Kyle Kraus now. I'm sure he'll catch Pizzacchemi as there's only 10 laps to go in the race. But I definitely think that he could have something here for Kyle Kraus. Especially since Kyle has that massive right side damage on the truck. There we go, these guys have just started their 10 to go lap. Lap 100. Also surprising, we've only had 2 retirements from this race, being James Watson and James Sanchez. Corey Williamson, who's sitting in the pits, is quickly 3 laps down. Mark Pentecoff is 3 laps down. It's Jonas Marquez and Travis Masio both 1 lap down apiece. As the laps are definitely ticking down now. There's only 8 laps left to run in this race. We go back up to check on our 2nd, 3rd and 4th place drivers. Though I say check up, they're kind of spread out here a little bit. Jonathan Hernandez has fallen back to 4th behind Austin Hakes. Pizzacchemi is catching up to Hernandez. See what Pizzacchemi can do here. Whether he's got anything for Hernandez, as they both just got around here. There's Kyle Kraus in 7th. Thomas Harmon has gotten around him. Thomas Harmon up into P6 now. Matt Horton looking to try and take advantage as well of the wounded Kyle Kraus. This is all about points limitation for Thomas Harmon. He's limiting the amount of points that he's losing from this race after being spun early by the 13 of Travis Massia. As Christian Budd on screen, the leader with 5 laps left to run in this race now. As you can see, he's got some lap traffic up ahead to deal with. The Blinky Bill of Sam Niederhelm and Frank Isaacson in the 24, the Autism Awareness car with chrome bumpers. Can't forget the chrome bumpers on Frank's car as they stand out like duck's nuts. Now it's just 4 laps left to run here for Christian Budd. The second half of this race has been a little bit of a snooze fest with it being all single filed out. But all in all, a nice clean and green race. Only the two cautions. The one on lap 1 from Sanchez, and the one in the middle of the race from Harmon. As we now have 3 laps to go. You never know, Christian Budd might play devil's advocate here and just sit in behind Sam. You know, not necessarily put him a lap down, just chill out behind him. But then again, it's Christian Budd. Nothing is ever a guarantee with him. As he comes out of turns 4 to start the penultimate lap. There's only 2 laps left to run here for Christian Budd. And I think he is actually just going to sit in behind Sam. Unless Sam makes a mistake and Christian's just going to take advantage of it. I think we're going to finish with 12 drivers on the lead lap. So I don't think Christian has to get anywhere near Sam while he's blinking. But through 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. Going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it for Christian Budd, as Sam actually got into the fence there coming out of turn 4 that time. Again, his blinking's just putting off Christian Budd that little bit. Makes his way out of turn 2 for the final time. Ken Campbell just in behind Christian. And out of 3 and 4 for the final time, your winner here for the Champs Speedshop 110 from the Milwaukie Mile is going to be the 50 car of Christian Budd. P2 is going to go the way of Brian Chambliss here. You see Austin Hakes in the 28 there just behind, going to take a P3. And Jonathan Hernandez holding on to P4 with Brian Pizzakemi sitting there in 5th. And I'm just hearing word that Brian Chambliss in the 21 car is also going to be your Viagra Hard Charger Award winner. So congratulations to Chambliss. But right now, it's going to be all about Christian Budd and the burnout display that he's about to do for you guys, the fans. And what a great view that we got for this burnout. Right at the top of the Main Straight Grandstand, looking over the start-finish line. But that is going to be all for us here tonight. Make sure you join us next week when we go tackle Miles the Monster and the Dover International Speedway. I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys next week.